But there was some really creative placement, I feel like, of tanks and things to kind of...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you just, like, sieged up this entire line over here. It was pretty insane. Well, and that was when the Zerg player was stuck on Roach Hydra pretty much the entire game. And honestly, you know, we haven't seen that much... Usually we see a lot of Zerg, and today's been a little lighter on the Zerg than usual, just because of the combination of teams here, I suppose. But I'd really like to see some Swarm Host, Ultralisk. We've seen some Vipers.
I feel like every time you say something that you want to see from Zerg, it's always Swarm Host, and everybody's always like, no! Why do you want to see that?
Well, I don't know. I think it's interesting, especially on a map like this, because these channels here are so narrow. You know, moving up here, it's pretty narrow. Moving across the right, it's fairly narrow. And I don't know. I mean, I want to see something different. It seems like we've seen Roach Hydra Viper almost every Zerg game so far today. So looking forward to something a little different, but we'll see what ends up coming out. Reaper is on the way for I'm Eurotrash.
I do think that the players were even mentioning that this map is particularly good for Swarm Hosts. They at the beginning of the map, it was end of the line saying it's a Swarm Host map. So, but I feel like if you go Swarm Host after saying it's a Swarm Host map, then you're kind of playing into your opponent's hand there. But who knows? Anyway, Reaper is moving in here.
There's really nothing here also to defend it. Now 2 Zerglings do pop out, but he does get 1 drone kill, so got what he wanted, getting off of creep just in time. Oh, drone coming out as well. Is he going to be able to get any damage on it? Looks like he was hitting some of those Zerglings there. So a lot of damage done, but not a lot of kills there. 1 drone. So not quite worthwhile yet, but he is getting all the scouting done. 2 Reapers now coming in. Wow, and he's actually making quite a number of Reapers. We have not seen Terran so far today go up to that 3-4 number of Reapers. Oh, but one is getting so close. Be careful.
Yeah, he's really got to keep that too, because he's following this up with a factory, and it's very likely that he's going to be doing that Reaper Hellion play that's really popular right now, and actually can do a lot of damage too. So it looks like end of line is going to have to be vigilant of that.
Yeah, and usually we end up seeing that wall go down here in the front eventually, but that doesn't keep the Reapers out, but it does keep the Hellions at bay. Although we have not seen any of those yet, the factory is going down. There is 2 more barracks behind it, so he's going to... Looks like he's going to move this factory onto the reactor here, get a couple of Hellions out, and then start going into the bio. And we've seen, honestly, it seems like we've seen Combat Shield and Stim come down really late for the Terran players today. You know, favoring some of that higher level tech before you really get into upgrading the Marines, which is kind of interesting.
It is, but I mean, part of that has been due to aggression that's happened too. I mean, we did see Combat Shield get canceled even by taking out a tech lab. So not entirely at the discretion of the players as to when those upgrades are coming down.
Metabolic boost is now completed. Zerglings are heading out across the map, and the front door is wide open here, but there is a bunker as... Oh my gosh! Insane hit of that line of Zerglings coming in. Those Hellions just tearing it right up. And
only 2 remain, trying to get what shots they can on the mule. 1 Zergling remaining at 5 hit points, and it is cornered.
Yeah, wow, that was ideal for I'm Eurotrash. I mean, those Zerglings just came in a perfect conga line, and whew.
Not the best engagement there for those Zerglings, and now we are seeing that Reaper Hellion push 3 Reapers, 4 Hellions making their way across, and End of Line is aware of what's going on. He does have a Queen down there.
Quickly now, get those Evo chambers down. I was just sitting here staring like, Evo chambers, where are the Evo chambers? But now it looks like he does have that wall completed. Queen's there to finish it off, as well as a spine crawler, so they should be able to hold this off. Although he's not going to be able to get his creep out like he would like to.
Yeah, that is going to hold the creep at bay, and slowly just leaving that wall open very briefly to keep those injects coming at least on the natural base.
Yeah, a Roach Warren is coming down as well as a lair. This is a pretty, not early lair, but a earlier than semi-normal lair, as it is. Started about 7-ish minute point, but now the Reapers are hopping up, trying to get some hits on anything that may be on the high ground. Upgrades coming down. Ranged upgrades, Gallegation. It's going to be ranged upgrades as the Roach Warren is completing. Scan goes on in the main base and sees 2 gas and a bunch of Zerglings in a spawning pool. Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot indeed. as most of the tech is at the natural. That spine crawler is moving up, going to try and push that creep forward a bit, but that does leave the wall wide open. I think he thought that went further away, and now everything's getting into the mineral line. That is a big trouble here for end of line, and great positioning here by the Hellions, taking some decent damage but dealing its own. But the Roaches are coming in and are going to be cleaning this up. Man, shot on those drones as well, but only 6 workers killed overall.
That was really scary when all those drones went to attack the Hellions and kind of went right into that funnel as I'm doing the hand motions, taking my hand off of my mouse and keyboard, which I use to show you things. But it was important. But oh man, that's scary times.
So the Roaches now heading across the map. All their upgrades are about halfway done, but there is a decent wall here and lots of Marines. Second bunker going down, and I think these Roaches are going to have a tough time breaking through this.
Yeah, the Glial Reconstitution on its way. Checking for a third base, does not see one. He's actually being really cautious about this push. Sending, looks like 6 Roaches down here at the third and a couple at the north, and then SCV here is patrolling to let himself know and his team know of anything that may be coming in. 2 bunkers here, so this should be pretty well defended as well as a tank. So I mean, he's gonna nice reaction time on lifting up those supply depots there. Going to see that not a lot is going to get done, so he's going to push on back. Taking this third base out front here, we were talking about this earlier. This is really something that I like seeing, especially for Zerg. It's a little bit harder for Terran and Protoss because you can just kind of keep your... And with Zerg, you want that creep to keep advancing across the map, and this certainly helps that out. Get those queens out there and keep it moving. Looks like this Roach here is going to keep a close eye on the third base as Overlord is good at... Oh, just an inch away from surviving.
So Hydralisk Den is coming down, +2 upgrades, and Burrow are coming down now as well. There is a decent contingency there of Roaches kind of in the middle of the map now, splitting up into groups of 8 and running around to keep dibs down, and Marines also trying to move out to get some idea of what's happening, but they are running into Roaches getting cleaned up.
Stimmed away from it. Combat Shield is just about to finish up. God, I love these Game Heart update things showing the upgrades finishing up. We've been using the static interface here as we throughout the regular season cast from replay, so it's nice to have all the Game Heart features. All the Marines jumping out of the bunkers. Looks like I'm Eurotrash is getting ready for that big engagement.
And even one of those medevacs is fully loaded with Marines, just kind of hanging out for now. But now it looks like, he's unloading after all. And Roaches are kind of split up into 2 groups. Looks like he wants to kind of come in on either side. But if this, it looks like the Marine Marauders are going to be heading south, taking out that single Roach. Is he going to move the remainder of them?
He better, because this is a couple small groups of Roaches these Marines would take right out, but he's going to pull them back. +1/+1 is 10 seconds away from completing, so that's why he's heading across the map. Although +2/+2 is not far behind for end of line.
Yeah, but it is going to be a few seconds there, and I think this engagement may finish up before those happen to come down here. Tanks are sieging up, and now he's going to have to be real careful.
Yeah, it just really depends. I'm surprised that end of line was sort of pushing the issue here. It seems like he would want to sit back and just kind of hang out and wait until his upgrades finish. He's got 9 Roaches about to pop, +2/+2 is about to finish. And those Roaches trying to buy time? Yeah,
or?
I'm not sure. I guess the Overlord going down. Wow, that's going to supply block into the line, so he cannot make anything else. Scanning, taking out those creep tumors. +1/+1 is mere seconds away. 15 seconds until that happens, but this push is well timed by I'm Eurotrash getting right in here, but it looks like he doesn't want to commit to it.
Well, he's pulling back because there was a small group that's trying to take out those tanks in the back, getting some shots off, and now end of line moving in, and but getting into that tank line, those Marines doing huge damage, and end of line has to keep reinforcing units here if he wants to
16
to keep
Roaches on the way, Gallegation, so that is definitely going to be enough to be pushing this back. It's a lot of Roaches. I mean, this has been the theme of the day, is Roach Hydra, but the question is, how long will end of line be staying on it this time? This is also a very awkward spot to set up out here, as, looks like running right up, sniping on a tank, just takes some damage, but doesn't actually kill a whole lot, so that was a good run in there by end of line.
And now those tanks are taking some shots off on the mineral line thanks to some scans, and now the medevac's getting vision, so when that scan finishes, the onslaught continues. And end of line is not quite sure how to engage this just yet. Going to have to pull those drones out a little late, actually.
He's not really worrying about engaging it just yet. He's stacking up numbers of Roaches. He's approaching 170 food here, and he's moving in a group of Roach Hydra from the back, and he's getting together a group in the front. He's going to want to just sandwich this. This is really cool play here. Gallegation is he's moving these up the back, gonna come up and take out another tank, move in from the front as well, just taking these tanks down right away. This is a great concave by end of line because it's actually a complete circle around the units of I'm Eurotrash.
Yeah, he really got the surround there 100% and actually pulled I'm Eurotrash in a few different directions by leading with that smaller group on the left and then pushing down with the main force on the right. The Marines were kind of caught in the middle right on top of the tanks, which isn't exactly where he wanted to be. So now forced to go home. But look at that medevac count there, Wingnut.
Look at that army count there, Gallegation. 100 to 52 in favor of end of line. I mean, honestly, this is where end of line needs to just come in here and push himself in before I'm Eurotrash can get too set up to defend here. He does have 2 tanks and numerous units on the ground as we take a look here under all the medevacs. Looks like a few units lining up there, but yeah, looks like he's just not going to push this. Baneling nest coming down. Oh my gosh, Gallegation, I love the baneling nest.
It is a neat little structure there, allowing you to produce those wonderful little jelly beans of goo.
The one thing we're not seeing that would be quite useful is a lot of creep.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of it got cleaned up, frankly.
I mean, coming up the north side here, he really hasn't cleaned up much coming on the north side, and this would be giving vision of these drops. It would be giving vision on the bottom, where he's having to keep his army down there. But, I mean, it's almost like Eurotrash was expecting a 4th base up here, but there isn't one, so he's just going to... He's going to leave his guys.
Hey, he's going to run in here with those already on the ground. Stimming forward now, moving into the 3rd base. And now that it's seen, the whole army is kind of coming back. That queen is down and lifting up, moving back. Going to go straight into the main. There is a spore crawler there, but it's not going to be enough to deter this entirely.
This little conga line of Marines is coming here across the map. It's almost like a strange rally. It's a medevac here in the main base, just trying to stay out of range of that spore crawler. 1 Hydralisk coming in. The healing is going down. Look at that Marine. He's taking all the shots and getting healed immediately. All the roaches. 30 roaches come back to kill 3 Marines.
Yeah, these Marines are really kind of, I don't know where they're headed, but they were going somewhere.
Yeah, but now the food supply has sort of stayed about the same. It's 133 to 83, but I would argue that the units of I'm Eurotrash are much tankier. As he does have a lot of tanks, and if he gets in a good position, this could be pretty nasty for end of line to try and jump into, because he does have a lot of these late units, banelings, hydras, and roaches. No vipers yet, no hive even on the way. I don't believe there's even a infestation pit yet. Is there? Nope, no infestation pit. So still a long ways away from any higher tech, but he's going to try and push in here, and this is... Oh man, this is going to be a little scary. The roaches are in front, thankfully, so they are tanking those tank shots.
Yeah, those banelings are getting fired upon slightly as well. Now moving over and just going to go straight into that base. It's immediately going to get killed. Oh my goodness, the SCV transfer. A decent number got killed there, but the tank continues to repel a decent amount of this army, and end of line able to prevent that 3rd base. Reburrows a roach to give himself the heads up the next time he tries to get put there again.
Man, after that engagement, I mean, look at the worker count right here, Gallegation. We're at 2 base Terran versus a 3 base Zerg, and the Zerg has been on 3 bases for a long time. The worker count is in favor of the Terran, though. 57 to 49 drones. So,
yeah, I mean, and end of line doing pretty decent.